I do know what he looks like. I know what I used to call him when I was little, but I don't remember too many memories with him. So we always thought it was very strange that we always saw him in the orbs. 4. Have you ever seen creepy stuff in your house? The house I live in now my grandma owned before us. She had it for years. I don't remember anyone else living in it before her, and she's seen some weird things in this house that she never mentioned to anyone until I mentioned it to her years later. This is a few stories of mine. When I was little, I was asleep and my dad came in and told me he was taking my brother to get his haircut. I woke up and said, "Okay, be careful." I went back to sleep. I woke up after a while and walked toward the living room, and I heard the TV playing a Western movie. You could hear the cowboys fighting, the gun going off, the horses running, and my dad was sitting in his chair, but he didn't react to me walking in. Note that my dad hates Western movies except maybe two, and that is Tombstone and Wyatt Earp. This movie was neither of them. Also, when you walk up our hall, the floor makes a noise, so it's normal for people to look and see who's coming up the hall, and my dad did not move an inch. So I went back to my room and looked out the window and realized there were no cars at home, so my dad wasn't home. I went back to the living room and he wasn't there, and the TV was off. I never figured out what it was and I never saw it. Eventually, when you are sitting in our living room, you can see down the hall from certain seats. Usually your eyes can play tricks on you, make you see things that you don't really see, but in my house you actually see them. There's a shadow man in our house. He has never harmed anyone, never harmed our animals. You just see him randomly show up in random places. You'll be sitting in the living room and look down the hall and you'll see him going from one room to another. Both room doors are closed. You'll look and see him peek out the bathroom and think you're going crazy because then he's instantly gone. I have seen him multiple times just going from one room to another, or you'll see him partially out of a room. My last time I saw him was about 2 nights ago. I thought I was crazy. I was half asleep in the living room and I looked and I swear he was in the bathroom doorway, and he's been here 4 years. Since I was little. I'm turning 30 this year. 3. When I was really little, my parents always took pictures of us. They would take birthday party pictures, just random pictures, for holidays pictures, when they thought we were doing something funny. My are those kind of parents. Most of my pictures always had orbs in it, and originally we would think, oh, it's dust just floating around. But then when you looked closer, you could see faces in the orbs. If I can ever find the pictures, I will post it. But the faces always look like my grandfather, which is my dad's father. He died when I was very little. I don't remember much about him. I do know what he looks like. I know what I used to call him when I was little, but I don't remember too many memories with him. So we always thought it was very strange that we always saw him in the orbs. 4. My best friend for 16 years is 4 years younger than me. And when we were in our teens, I was around 16, she was around 12. We had a sleepover at my house and we slept in the living room. We love horror movies. We love anything scary. We love to go ghost hunting, abandoned place exploring. We love to learn about cryptids and all of the supernatural stuff. We've been like that since we were really young. The night she decided to say, we were in the living room watching TV and we kept hearing something fall in the kitchen. And when we looked in there was a little Debbie box on our pantry shelves. It wasn't near the edge of the shelf, but it was in the floor. It's like they kept falling every time we put it back up, and there was no excuse to why. So about 5 years ago, I was in the bathroom getting ready to go out, and I was putting my makeup on. The door was closed and I heard kids laughing and running up and down the hall. I remember texting my dad and saying, have you ever heard kids laughing? I'm running up and down the hall, and he said when we were little kids he had heard it and he thought it was me and my brother playing late at night. He said he would yell, go to bed, it's late, but then it would happen again. So he eventually got up and checked on us and realized me and my brother were both asleep. So he went into the hallway and screamed, I don't know who you are, but I want you to shut up. I have to go to work in the morning. And he didn't hear it again. So that day when I was getting dressed and I heard, I went out and I said, I don't care if you're here, but can you be quiet? And they actually stopped. My grandma never told me of anything that happened in this house. After something would happen or I would see something, I would go to her and ask her, have you ever had this happen before? That is when she would tell me that when she lived here, she would see shadow figures throughout the house. When she was sleeping, she would feel something sit on the end of her bed. She would have things move in the house. It was nothing too scary and nobody ever got hurt, but there were things that you just noticed. What are some stories that you guys have about the house you lived in? I have lived in this house my whole life, so I have lived here 30 years. My parents have been here since my grandma had it.